and is operated to British Maritime and Coast Guard Agency regulations. For your comfort and safety, please listen to the following safety announcement. In the unlikely event of an emergency, it is important that you follow the instructions given through the vessel's public address system and directions given by crew members. Adult life jackets are stored under the seats in the saloon and upper deck. Child and infant life jackets are also carried on board. Donning instructions are clearly displayed in the saloon, aft deck and upper deck. Crew members will assist if required. The muster stations for an emergency evacuation are on the port and starboard aft deck. Life rafts are located at the aft of the vessel. These will deploy automatically or manually, and crew members will instruct and assist you to board them. The captain asks all passengers with children to please be aware that running is not allowed on board, and your children must be with you at all times. Standing on the seats or handrails is also not allowed. Please use the litter bins throughout the vessel and never discard rubbish over the side. The entire Spirit of Loch Ness vessel is a no smoking zone, so there is no smoking permitted anywhere on the vessel. We have a bar on the lower deck with a good selection of beers, souvenirs and, of course, malt whiskies. Toilets are located on the lower deck. If you need any further help or information, please feel free to ask a member of the crew. So now sit back, relax and enjoy the wonders of Loch Ness in the Great Glen of Scotland. But please don't feed the monsters.
Hello folks, welcome aboard Cruise Loch Ness. My name's John, I'll be your tour guide telling you everything I know about the loch. Downstairs in the bar, you've got Charlie and Alex. Whiskey, tea, coffee, soft drinks. Upstairs at the helm we've got Rick McDonald. He's been doing this longer than I've been alive, so very good hands. Translations folks, downstairs next to the bar, left side, you see a bunch of translations for Italian, French, German, all the different. So folks, we're going out on Loch Ness, absolutely massive place. We're going over to the wild side of the loch, filled with wildlife, squirrels, all the other massive range. I'll also be doing a sonar presentation on the turn on the way back. So now, sit back, relax, and enjoy Loch Ness folks.
Travelling across the world-famous Loch Ness, but there is more of interest in this deep dark valley than just the monster. Loch Ness is part of the Great Glen of Scotland, a geological fault line which runs from under the North Sea in the northeast to the edge of the Atlantic shelf in the southwest. It cuts Scotland in two. The rocks which form the Highlands of Scotland were laid down in warm tropical seas far to the south of the equator more than 500 million years ago. Around 400 million years ago, the continents of North America and Europe collided, and this created an enormous mountain chain. Those mountains are known as the Caledonians. 20 million years later, the Great Glen fault line was formed, and the mountains to the north of the loch slipped 65 miles, 100 kilometres to the southwest, forming a huge valley. Eventually, North America drifted away, the Atlantic opened, and as continents entered northern latitudes, they drew down upon themselves the Great Ice Ages, and our enormous jagged mountains were eroded to the stumps you see on either side of you during your journey today. When the last ice age finished, about 12,000 years ago, Loch Ness filled with fresh water and took the form you see today. Vegetation and trees arrived. but most were cut down during medieval times to produce charcoal for smelting, and the pine forests you see here today are mainly introduced species like larch, Douglas fir, Sitka, and Norwegian spruce, and some sequoia. Our only native pine, the Scots pine, is best seen in nature reserves such as Glen Affric. These bogs stain the rainwater, and it is that which makes the loch's waters appear so dark. The loch is around 23 miles long, averages 1 mile wide, and is 754 feet. That is 35 kilometres long, 1.5 kilometres wide, and 230 metres deep. Put the population of the world into Loch Ness more than 3 times over, and it contains more water than all the lakes, rivers and reservoirs of both England and Wales combined, including the whole of the English Lake District. So there is room for it to conceal a few mysteries. Cameras to hand, as you never know when you might be lucky enough to film or photograph something unusual on the loch. Whether the phenomena seen at the surface could be messy will continue to be debated, and there are many theories on the subject. So let us take a look at the history of the Loch Ness monster and see if it provides any clues. The first recorded sighting of a mysterious creature in the loch was in 565 AD by St. Columba, a Scots-Irish missionary who was preaching Christianity to the native Picts in the area. The story was probably just a parable to show the power of the Church of the Christians. Sightings of a big fish occurred in the 19th and early 20th century, but in 1933 the story suddenly exploded upon the world with a series of sightings and photographs. The most famous picture, that of a graceful neck protruding from the water, turned out to have been faked, but it will always remain the iconic image of the Loch Ness monster. Scientists have shown that long-necked animals could not live in the cold water, owing to its temperature and the lack of an adequate food supply. Some have been mistakes, diving birds, and even deliberate invention. The vast majority of sightings are of a single hump, and those can be large living creatures. Sonar confirms strong contacts in the deep water, domain fish rather than air breathers. One suggestion is that sturgeon may have been introduced to the river system, and it is known they can live for centuries and grow to enormous proportions, the world record being 8.3 metres and over 240 years old. It might not be a very romantic monster, but at least it could be a real creature.
We are Loch Ness, that's the apple man. In terms of loch, it's not the longest loch boat. Some deep, Loch Water, but it's a combination of both. So it's 25.6 miles long, averages about a mile wide. This point goes up to 50 meters. They say that next to Glen Affric Castle is a point where the stack was down, but they say that that's where Snake lives, but of course we don't know. We don't know. Just to give you a quick idea of how much water is actually in Loch Ness. There's the whole population of Earth in Loch Ness 3 times over. It's a rough idea. It's not massive, but it's the height of the thing. The water is dark, the water comes in, so looking at things going down the side of it, it's impossible.
a notorious cattle thief. He used the cave as a hideout. As a survivor of the Battle of Culloden, he was determined to assassinate the Red Coat commander, the Duke of Cumberland, in revenge for the beating taken by his fellow clansmen during the battle. Lying in wait on the hillside, he saw his chance when the Duke and his troops happened by. Goddy's blunderbuss was full of shot and nails. He remained hidden while he waited for the Duke to come into range. Unfortunately for Gordy, the shot was a bad one and missed. He immediately turned to flee back to his cave and was pursued by the Red Coat soldiers who lost sight of him in the heather. With food and supplies being brought by his wife and other village folk, he managed to remain hidden in the cave for several months. Eventually, the Redcoats gave up the search, and the tale does not tell what finally became of this fugitive from Cumberland's rough justice.
Look at our right side of the sheep and actually wild deer. Quite common around these parts. Really hard to spot as well. Just when the world is so well. Over at this point, so I'm back enjoying wildlife. Don't white goat, red goat, black goat. It's not huge. These ones we call the hog. Don't make them angry. Red deer as well. Red deer are the biggest of in Scotland. Red deer, roe deer, city deer, ham. They're actually quite a big problem. But to be honest, a mile 5, the road 5 miles inland. Deer come on the road at night and back to the deer. Currently written off with the deer and for that. There's always 2 more goats on the right side here, so like one. One of them left on the rock. And another one that's falling. What they do is the mother will hide them and dive down where it's so that's what will go for them. Dive down inside. I'm very excited that larger than a house cat, but big black tail, like a rod or black tail, and that's how you can tell the difference between a house cat and similar. Also, we noticed the face of the house cat was hybrid, a large house cat.
Starboard side, right, you can see a large area of shattered rock, which forms roughly the shape of a horseshoe, hence its name. One local tale tells that this is where the monster tried to escape, but it was too steep, and she slipped back into the depths. A scoop is caused by hundreds of years of seasonal weather. Water makes its way into crevices in the rock face. When it freezes, the water expands and shatters the rock, causing it to cascade down the hillside. You find many of these features in the Highlands. They can be very dangerous, as the rocks can be easily disturbed and crash down upon anyone beneath. In 1985, monster hunter Steve Blackwell put a large cage in the water here and baited it with a net of salmon. The event was overseen by the Loch Ness project for safety. The cage was successful in landing a vodka company to sponsor the event, but the only monsters it captured were journalists looking for a silly season story.
Wild goats for years, just waiting to know they are. Then they'll have the little babies because they don't know yet. Spot the grey one above the white one from very nice. If not, no time to see it. We have no idea how many are on this part of this is what Scotland looks like if you don't eat That's what Scotland is. You know it's another white and grey one over here just over here by the green pipe, you can see a white one as well. It's not the black one as well. It's believed that these goats were here because of the Highlands. Basically, Scotland didn't want to give over all their animals to anybody. So they said, big animal. Sonar today, folks, the monsters downstairs, look at the bottom in the middle, you see our depth, as soon as we turn, the plummet to about 190, 200. Believe it or not, this is the shallow side of Loch Ness. You go about 10 miles further on, you'll get up to the depth. So very, very cool.
vu. On l'a vu. En fait, il y a un autocollant. Et en fait, on est assis sur l'eau. Et tu sais qu'on a fait la fenêtre, sur la fenêtre là-bas. On a fait la vie.
So folks, well, when you're here, don't think about animals that we can't afford. That shouldn't happen to us. Thinking about themselves and wildlife. Imagine us wildlife, we're more connected with that. watching Loch Ness, the monster, yeah? They get a big woohoo. That was the best one I've ever had. We did this for a week and they get the audience. That's what it is. So folks, if you look over here now, sonar, this is the bottom right here, you see our screen getting off. It's going to about 11 to 12 miles an hour. Good for cruising, you know, good for spotting wildlife and anything that's possible. In the middle here, top of the middle, you know, our 10 meters, 188 meters. That's the shallow end of the water. Down there, it's a lot more. And the bottom left here, you see our temperature in the water. Obviously, it's not 70 degrees in the water, it's not cold than that. Year round, it's about 4 to 6 degrees, never gets any warmer than that. Imagine when it's really fast, it's 4 to 6 degrees as well. Always freezing cold. If you're going to fall in, all your warm blood is going to your vital organs. Of course, having no blood, no oxygen in your muscles makes it really hard to swim in. You'll get calm and eventually you get cold water shock. It's all your vegetables. So it's hard to swim in the water. It's so cold. If you look over here in the top right boat, that's where the sonar is right now. That's where the boat is right now. And then in the top left, that's where the boat was 10 minutes ago. So it looks kind of like a tight loop. The way it works is the sonar is used for hundreds and hundreds of years. Animals have been using it, you know, bats, dolphins, whales, they use sonar to see ocean, like the other. Yeah, you can see all these little dots. What do you think they are? Fish, monsters, unlucky customers. Fucking fish. Any idea what fish you've got on the lot? Salmon, yeah, you get quite a lot of wild salmon in the area. Trout, yeah, a lot of trout. You get brown trout, sea trout, you get rainbow trout. Have you ever heard of fed-off trout? Fed-off trout is the biggest trout in the world. There is a lot. Fed-off blackest trout. And that's exactly what you fish is. I've actually got a picture here on my phone. That there is a fed-off trout. It's absolutely massive. This one here is actually quite a small one. Well, 25, maybe 30 pounds. And they get up to 50 though. So 50. They're cannibalistic fish. What they do is they'll eat their babies. Not a very nice life cycle, but that's what they do. So it's quite deep down, about 50 to 100 meters. That's what they do. Big, thick, dark fish. Not very nice. And of course we've got pike. You're in a pike boat. Yeah? The same got a barracuda, you know, shooting back, 3.6, 0 to 60 underwater in about a second, you know, end of the day after it goes. British stories about something that's going into the top of the water, talking around, and then it goes underwater, and a pike is that. Somebody was out on a rim trip not too long ago, a colleague of mine, and they see swans in the water, and then a couple of seconds later, whoosh, went down in the water, and what do you think the water was? Massive pike. At all points, about 8 miles into that direction, there was a curious fisherman. Never been fishing a day in his life, came to a fish. Swung the stick out, and on his first cast, caught a 40-pound pike. Absolutely massive. Such a huge teeth, one that size, and he did himself large. Fingers off his cast, not a very nice fish. But he's muscly and powerful, you know, he's leg, he's hard and muscular. Big problem with the ears on it. What he can watch, still quickly, there's a Arctic char. Arctic char, pretty cute wee fish. Well, maybe kind of fish like that, long. The most abundant fish in the world. This fight was from 1983 during Operation Scenic. Operation Scenic. Bunch of boats went over the Loch, sonar, scanned 96% of the Loch. They didn't find anything plus 54%. But what they did find was a bunch of sonar contacts that were bigger great white sharks. things like that big in the Loch. A couple of years ago, September 21st, 2020, during the lockdown, we had our biggest ever sonar contact. We got 190,000 we sent it off to our sonar experts, and they said it's roughly 10 meters long and about a meter and a half wide. Absolutely massive. People are wondering, oh, what to get that? Well, actually, there's a few things to that. People think sturgeon. The sturgeon swimming edge, that way, about 100 years ago, about 5 meters long, 20 meters in here, 20 meters. Catfish, massive catfish, rocker, a lake, similar to this picture to Loch Ness. Even catfish in the Loch, sturgeon in the Loch. People are still stuff up, what to see, what to do. Well, the University of Otago, New Zealand, 8 years ago, did DNA testing on the Loch. Found that 16% of the DNA was increased. They had no idea what it was. Couldn't be any known disease. Tiniest microbiological, maybe a massive surgery, you don't know. But what they did find was massive quantities of DNA community here. How big do you think you'll get? Well, the world's best community in Eel, caught in the North Sea from 6 miles that way, by a climate-based fishing boat, and it was about 8 meters long and a meter wide. Very, very similar to the size of our continent. I mean, put it all together in your head, looking like next to a massive eel, 6 feet, black, white, they seem to depend on where they are, the vegetation, offshore, but to get that big, I don't think it's even counted, you know what I mean? 10 meters long, meter wide, so folks, that's me, I hope you enjoyed the chat, thank you very much for listening.
probably built around the time of Christ. In the early 20th century, one of the monks from Fort Augustus used an early diving suit to study its construction, which is mainly substantial trees crisscrossing each other for foundations. It was constructed as a defined structure. Some Picts built homes on islands with access walkways to shore. Not only did these provide protection from wild animals and easy access for fishing, but they were also very easy to defend. If an enemy were attacking, firstly they would find it difficult to gain access, and in most cases would just steal some animals and move on. If, however, it was a more substantial force, the walkway could be burned, preventing the enemy gaining access at all. There are many cairns in Scotland, and several have been studied by archaeologists who have found charcoal along the lines of the submerged walkways, showing that this tactic had been used on several occasions. There has been a community living at this end of the loch since earliest recorded times. Following St. Columba's attempt to convert the northern Picts to Christianity, the area moved back and forth between pagan and Christian beliefs, until in the 7th century, St. Cuban visited the glen. He built upon St. Columba's work and fully established Christianity in this part of the Highlands. He built a church here, and the village became known as Cuban, or Church of Cuban. It is still known by this name locally, and the local school is called Cuban Academy. After the Second Jacobite Uprising of 1750, Jacobites were supporters of the Catholic Stuart monarchy. General George Wade built a network of roads with Kilmine at its centre. He also constructed a new fort here, which he named Fort Augustus in honour of King George's favourite son, William Augustus, the Duke of Cumberland. Once the fort was constructed, Fort Augustus became the English name for the village. The fort was enormous and solidly constructed, with 4 heavily defended bastions at each corner. It housed a considerable military detachment. The last Jacobite uprising took place in 1745 and the fort was surrendered to Jacobite forces which had badly damaged it with cannon fire. In 1746, the Jacobites were defeated, and the Duke of Cumberland, the man for whom this fort was named, decided to use it as his headquarters, but it was unusable. Cumberland was infuriated by the destruction and began a series of dreadful atrocities against the Highland people. The fort was never rebuilt after 1745, and Lord Lovat purchased it from the government and refurbished one building to use as a hunting lodge, giving it to the Benedictine monks in 1878, who built the abbey attached to the fort foundations and remaining buildings. The monks operated it as a boarding school until 1993. The building then remained for a number of years, before being converted into the Highland Club, luxury holiday apartments. As we approach the entrance to the Caledonian Canal, we are reaching the end of our cruise adventure on Loch Ness. The canal itself is remarkable in its own right, and once you've disembarked, we recommend that you walk up the flight of clocks to get a feel for this wonder of pre-Victorian construction, which was built during the reigns of George III and George IV. It was built between 1803 and 1822, is 60 miles, 95 kilometres long, rises to 150 feet above sea level, 45 metres, and comprises 39 locks, 10 bridges and 4 aqueducts. The construction engineer was Thomas Telford. Of the length of the canal, almost 2/3 are made up of the natural Loch Ness, Loch Oich and Loch Lochy. It was constructed to provide a safe passage through Scotland to save ships from travelling the more treacherous routes around the north of Scotland, which was susceptible to storms and French privateers. Shortly after opening, the construction of larger steamships meant that its usefulness was restricted, and it might have been forced to close. It survived that and many other attempts to close it, the last of which was in the 1990s, and today it is a subsidised protected monument. Commercial vessels do use the canal, but it is now primarily used by tourist vessels such as ours and many cabin cruisers and barges. There is a canal museum on the right-hand side of the Staircase of Locks if you would like more information. Our cruise today is now complete and we will shortly be manoeuvring to our berth, so please remain seated until instructed by the crew.